Alright, so now we're basically going to do the same thing, but we're going to use a little script that I wrote that's going to set up all the materials for all of the objects, and then we'll go and tweak the water one, and we will make a lava shader. The script should cut out a lot of time and set stuff up properly, and it'll go through and set up a lot of the options for the materials. So we're going to go again, file, import, and find our world and import the obj. That'll take a little sec. So if we hit 6, we can see what we've got. If we look here, again, we've got Phong shaders on everything, which is not really what we want. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to select one of the transparent objects. So it could be the water or the grass or leaves, doesn't matter. And basically we're going to get the path, the file path for the RGBA texture. So because that one actually has all of the information that we need. So here, if we go back, so on the shader, click on the color connection, and we've got our file, and you can see here it's the RGBA file that was exported from Mineways. So we're going to double click on that and Control C to copy it, and we're just going to go to Notepad, or it doesn't really matter, any text editor, and we're going to paste that. And what we're going to do is just go through here and change all of these forward slashes. So we're going to swap them around the other way. It'll just make Maya read it better. So we're going to do that. And then the other one we're going to do is I'll post this script on on CG Talk, and I'll link it in the YouTube video. So we're going to copy the script that I'll post. So we can copy that. We're going to click on the button down here for the script editor. We're going to go Command, New Tab, and we're going to do Python, and we're going to paste the script in there. So let's go back to our notepad where we've saved our image. We're going to copy that path, Control C, and in the script editor, oops, make it a bit better so you can see. We're going to, here under where it says replace the RGB texture path below, in between the comment or marks, we're going to paste our texture, and that's got our forward slashes and stuff like that, and we need the RGBA one, so that's important. So how do we make this script work? What we have to do is basically select all the geometry. So with that selected, we're going to go over here, click inside this window. We're going to hit Control A, which will select all of the script, and we're going to hit Enter, which is the bottom right hand enter on your keyboard. The one, not the one near Shift and the backslashes and stuff. The enter that's near your numeric keypad. So the very bottom right enter. We'll hit that. And so basically what that's done is it's gone through and assigned an MIA material X for every object. It's plugged in the color to our RGBA. It's set the reflectivity down. It's turned on the occlusion and set the size, and it's cut out opacity, which is our transparency, to the alpha channel from our RGBA texture. So we're going to get transparencies and stuff. What we're going to do with the water to make this water look a bit better, let's go up the top here. We're going to turn the reflectivity on to 0.3, so it's a little bit, oops, so to 0.3. So it's a little bit reflective. We're going to go down to transparency, and we're going to put that to 0.3. So now our water is going to be a bit see-through. and then we're going to go down to the cutout opacity, and we don't really need the cutout opacity for the water, and in fact it's going to make it a little bit crappy. So we're going to, on the words cutout opacity, we're going to right click and we're going to go break connection. So that's basically stopped the connection that the script went through and put on every single shader, and it's going to stop that, and we're using the transparency from the actual shader now. Like a kind of overall transparency instead of the cutout. One other thing that it's gone through and done is on every file it's turned off the filtering, so we won't get blurry textures. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's go and have a look at our lava shader. What we're going to do here is let's create basically a new shader for the lava from scratch. So we're going to go Window, Rendering Editors, Hypershade, and we're going to go click on here for Maya, and we're just going to make a surface shader. So this surface shader will only have color. It's not going to receive shadows or light, because lava doesn't really do that. I mean, it might receive light, but in this case we're just going to make it give off a glow only and not receive shadow. So when it's in a dark spot, it'll just kind of light the area around it. So let's assign, so let's select our lava, and we're going to right click on our shader and assign material to selection. So now we have kind of black lava. So if we go to our surface shader, in here, go to our out color, and we're going to pick our file, and in our image name we're just going to pick the RGB texture that we use. Click that. We're going to turn the filter off, and now to make it a bit glowy and to give off a bit of light, we're going to go down to the color gain here, and if this isn't changed to HSV, we can change it down here, and V, which is the value, we're going to change to 7, and that's going to kind of blow out the texture a bit in our viewport, but when we render it, it should kind of look cool. So next thing, we'll quickly set up our lighting again. So we're going to go to mental ray, indirect lighting, physical sun sky, and we're going to hit create. We're going to go down here. We need final gathering ticked on, which should automatically happen when we click the physical sun sky button. We're going secondary diffuse bounces. We're going to put that up to 1, and the secondary diffuse scale, we're going to click on this color, and we're going to change this V value again to 2. So what that's going to do is it's going to bounce light 1 extra time. So in the darkness it'll be a little bit brighter, which will look cool. And by changing that value to 2, it's going to make that a little bit stronger. So basically in a cave or in this big area here, where it's like quite like a big hole, it should make it a little bit brighter. So that's our lava one. And one more thing we might do on the water, we'll go down here to our maya material again for the water, and we're going to put a little bit of bump mapping on it to make it like a little bit wavy or a bumpy texture. So let's go down to the bump, overall bump down here, and click the box again, and we're going to connect a file. We're going to change this value, bump depth, to 0.01. Whoops, I put a comma there, which is not good. 0.01. And we're going to go up here where it says our bump value. We'll click on this, and we're going to select the file. And we can put in our just straight RGB alpha. And this is just going to use the kind of alpha from the grayscale alpha from this texture. It's going to use it as a bump map, and for the water it actually works pretty well. So we'll click open, and again our filter type we're going to turn off. So now if we grab our sun, we're pretty much done. Grab our sun and rotate this around, hit 7 so we can see what our light's looking like a bit better. if we basically, I'll turn on the film gate so we can see what's happening. Let's have a look at this. We'll do something like that. Yeah, and we'll also rendering editors hypershade. We'll go to our utilities here and our MAA exposure. Let's change that down to 1. Alright, so now if we take a snapshot, we can kind of see what we're doing and hit render. So this is going to take a bit to render basically. There's a lot of the occlusion that we've put on in the shadows in the shader will make it go a bit slower, but it will give us kind of a bit nicer edges where the blocks meet, especially in the dark shadowy areas. It'll give us just a little bit of an extra pop. The water, the reflection and refraction, so it's like bending stuff a bit, it's going to take a little bit longer. So yeah, so I'll just pause this and let this render, and then we'll have a look what we get at the end, because it's going to probably take about 5 minutes. Alright, so there's the image finished. This one's a bit bright because I left the sun kind of almost like at a noon kind of time, but you can still see the shadows and the dark areas working nicely. There's a little bit of a glow off here. With the water, the way it's set up, when it's darker there'll be more reflection and stuff, but when it's in really full light, it'll be like quite see-through, so you can see like a little bit of reflection in the poles down here. I'll post up, I'll do some, I'll make a couple of really nice renders and post them up on CG Talk for an example. I might tweak the water shader a bit more, play around with the settings. Say for example, I might, like this sand is really blown out, so I might tweak that shader a little bit. I might tweak that occlusion a little bit so we get a bit more definition in the corners here. I mean, you can see it a little bit. I don't know if you can see it on the video. It's working really well in the dark areas, but we might want to get it to work a bit better out here. I can kind of see it working in on the sand, but a bit more would kind of work a lot better. So there's that. So, and there was one more question that we had about what happens if we want to, I don't know, I guess it's nighttime and we want to put a light in just a cave or something like that. So we're just going to render a small area instead of using the physical sun sky. So let's just do that quickly. So let's go File, New Scene, don't save. You could save your scene if you want. So let's go File, Import. We're going to import our OBJ. And here we have our thing, our world again. Where was that cave? There's a cave in here, which is pretty cool. Let's just quickly, I've still got my path here in my script, but let's select all the geometry, hit Control A and now enter and assign all our shaders. Quickly I'll make a surface shader again here because that's pretty cool. File, open, and I'm going to use my RGB and turn that off because we might get some cool light. We'll do a really small kind of render here. On our Material X, I'm going to do the same stuff again. So reflectivity, change that down to 3. Our transparency, change that, sorry, 0.3 for the reflectivity, 0.3 for the transparency. Break the connection on the cutout opacity. Overall bump, we're going to get our file. We'll put the bump value to 0.01, and our image, we're going to choose our alpha, click open and turn the filter off. And let's just bring in, say we had like a little campfire or something, let's bring in a point light, find that, and let's put this in the cave. Just so you might want to use an area light or something like that. I don't know, let's just put it in the back here. So if we hit 7 now, you can kind of see that that's our light. So we're going to light up our cave in there, and we're going to go down with our light selected. We're going to go to shadows and use ray trace shadows, make sure that's ticked on. That's kind of cool. And then in our render settings, we're going to go indirect lighting. We're not going to use physical sun sky, so we'll turn on final gathering. Same thing, let's put an extra bounce and change the bounce scale up a little bit. You could put in more bounces, but it's probably going to end up taking longer and longer to render. So let's hit this, and that's going to show us kind of what we will render. And let's render that. Have a look. And same thing, this is going to take a little while, so I might pause it and come back at the end of the render. See, our lava's looking kind of cool. So this is almost finished rendering. You can see it's quite dark. It's probably a bit too dark for nighttime, but you can see the lava looks really cool. It's glowing. Our light is working and it's casting shadows, which is kind of cool. But it's a little bit dark, so I'll show you how we can maybe fix that like really quickly. I'll just move my camera. There we go. So what we might do is go up to whatever camera you're rendering from. In this case, I'm just using the perspective camera. Let's go down here to environment. On the background color, let's make it a kind of night sky color. Make it like quite bluish, something like that might do. And basically what this will do, if I render a small bit quickly, we can test to see what kind of effect it's going to have. Basically it should use the environment, that setting that we did just then, as a little bit of a light with the final gather that we turned on. So you can see that's kind of working really quite nicely there. Let's move this light. I kind of want to, it's a bit hard to see. I kind of want to get a bit of a nice shadow to see that so we can see a bit better that the shadows are working. So that, move it back a little bit. Let's just make sure we've got kind of a good view. Looks kind of cool. So we've got our light, our really kind of pale blue light on there from our environment. Let's hit render one more time. I'll might pause it again. This is rendering a lot faster actually, because we're not using the physical sun sky, which is doing a fair bit extra stuff. I might pause this and then we'll come back and have. So there's a quick render. We can see the shadows are working off the point light, so all the shadows will come out from where that point is. So if you're having a little campfire, maybe, or you know, torches or something, you might want to turn the intensity down and put them where the torches are and change the color to a little bit yellow. That might look kind of cool, and each one will set off its own shadows and light. The more you put in, the slower it's going to render. That looks pretty cool. I might do one more very quick thing on how to tweak the water even a bit more and make that look cool. So I'll pause and get up to the water stage after running the script, and we'll have a look at that quickly. Alright, just as a last thing, I've quickly re-gone through and done everything again, except basically run the script. I ran the script to put all the shaders on. I quickly did a lava shader because I really like that. Let's have a very quick look at the water and how we can make that look a bit better, like quite easily. So let's click on the water. Let's go to its shader. What we're going to do here is go presets, water, and replace. And that's actually going to get us a pretty good result straight up. But we want it to be a little bit more Minecrafty, so we'll turn the diffuse weight up so we can see the texture a bit better. Reflectivity, that's pretty full on, so we'll put it at 0.3 or 0.5. Let's put it at 0.3. Same thing, we're going to go down to advanced, cut out opacity because we don't need that. which the script had hooked up. And same thing, we'll go down to our bump, put on the bump, overall bump. Let's click our file. Same thing, 0.01, and let's, on our texture, we'll turn the filter off, and we'll find our alpha texture. And then that's basically it. That's going to actually make our water look much better than before. There's some things that you might want to play with. This index of refraction is how the water is going to bend the light. By clicking the water one, we've kind of set it to water. Advanced refraction might want to play with some of these settings, and you can make it so where the water is really deep, it'll get more opaque, kind of like real water does, and where it's shallow, it'll be transparent. But let's have a look and re-render this one more time. And I'll pause it again because it's going to take a little while, and then we'll have a look, and then that should be the end of the video. So here's our render. I actually went through and tweaked some of the settings a bit. So now we've got weight at 0.3, reflectivity 0.8, just thought it looked a bit better. Transparency 0.3. Same thing, we've got our bump and our cutout opacity turned off. Yeah, so that looks kind of cool. You can see the reflection of the lava there and everything. It's a little bit bumpy water, kind of wobbly. It looks kind of cool. So yeah, on the CG Talk forum, I might spend a little bit of time and make some really cool pictures. Maybe, for example, like a nighttime scene that has torches, like around your base camp or something like that. I'll have to play a bit of Minecraft and make something. So nighttime scene and really nice daytime scene. I might redo the water shader from scratch. I've done it before and gotten like insane results. This is just a really quick shader. So yeah, I'll post those images up, but I hope that that's a good start for people to get stuff from Mineways and render it out in Mental Ray. Cheers.